We all here? What's going on?
Hello?
You're listening to Comics Podcasting on the edge of civility.
Alright then, Rev. I guess we should get kicking.
I don't want to kick anything.
Ah, well, you gotta get cracking then. How about that?
Really? Really? These are my options, kicking and cracking?
What would you call it?
I'd call it sitting and drinking.
Fine. We should get to sitting and drinking.
Yay!
Giant jackass.
Rejoicing. I've decided to describe my emotional content during this.
I don't want to know
Smug.
your emotional content. Oh, that's great. Did you see that bottle of booze on the counter?
What was it?
Catcher's Rye.
Oh, nice.
Terrible.
That is actually kind of fun. That's maybe the best
It's
thing.
mildly
in the film.
clever,
Yeah.
yes. At any rate, kids, this is the Mean Geek, episode 208.
208. You know, all my life I've wanted to be in podcast number 208.
You're looking up at the ceiling like this is supposed to be some great, profound thing in the back of your mind and deep in your heart.
Pause for meaningful silence.
And I know it ain't.
No, not even remotely.
Here comes the mean part. Jackass! Anyway, this is part 2 of our March Marvels. Because we bought so many goddamn books, and technical difficulties got in our fucking way. I ain't gonna lie. Oh yeah, we're just so cool. We bought so many Marvels.
We dropping-
No, my shit broke.
Dropping dollar bills on comics. You can't make that sound street and cool. It's just
You
not
really
possible.
can't.
Dude, my Benjamins go towards comics. There's a t-shirt no one buys.
My Benjamins go to Kirby's. Hey! No, fuck that. That's not working.
Ferrigno!
Oh man, did we have to have him involved here?
It's an Avengers movie about the characters from Grimm's Fairy Tales. Of course, Lou Ferrigno had to make an appearance.
It's so bad. I don't want to deal with this anymore. We made great progress in the March Marvels, but we didn't quite finish it. We left off talking about...
Do we have any news or anything this week? Anything since the
Not
last one?
since Wednesday? No. And even if there was something interesting, I have been at it too long. Been working too much. Been too active. I ain't read no goddamn nerd articles.
You had a wedding. You had a barbecue, sort of.
Yes. And I forgot to tell you, the music that the bride and groom came into the reception hall in?
Imperial March?
Close. Very close. The fanfare. The overture. Star Wars was played at
What
this
would you
fucking
do?
wedding.
Would you come into the Imperial March? Like, assuming that
If I had any kind of say in it, yes, I would.
Assuming that you're marrying a congenital idiot who would allow you, like, full-on friggin' decision-making.
Dude, that's the only kind of person that would.
There you go.
I mean,
So,
come on.
What would it be? That?
Yeah, it would.
Okay. What would I? It would either. I'd like to do, and I've known both these will like. Not only am I already married, but when we do the ceremony, I won't have these kind of options available. It would either be the Indiana Jones theme when the boulder's coming after him.
Nice.
Which I feel is just apt in several,
Impending doom.
Exactly. Or Lust for Gold from Good, Bad, and the Ugly.
Ah!
That would be amazing.
That's great. But no, she'll probably like...
No, yeah.
It's, we should have, like, only you or... something cliched and fucking
Fluffy Daffodil
old
Power
and
by,
something incredibly boring that 900,000 other weddings have had. Did she just smack him in the head with a fucking branding arrow? What the fuck is going on? What is that thing?
she's the Hawkeye of this scenario.
And she's Red Riding Hood. Except nobody's falling down. It's just like... And there's not even enough smoke. It's not like a smoke grenade arrow. This is a terrible fucking flick.
Hard to believe.
It's so rotten. Ugh. How about some Star Wars, huh?
All right, what do you got?
Well, we got Star Wars number 3, because we're so incredibly far behind. Now, if we remember, The point of this particular arc is that the heroes have gone to this factory planet to sabotage it. And they've been doing a pretty good job, mostly. But at this point in the story, Chewie is saving the Falcon, and Han and Leia have faced down tanks and AT-STs in this fucking walker they hijacked, which was fucking amazing. But Vader takes the legs out of this fucking thing, where he just walks right up, says, "Fuck you, baby."
This whole book. Well, I'll let you finish with your note part.
And the rebels finally get to escape, but Vader, this is the point where Vader realizes that Luke was important to Kenobi. Aha! He doesn't yet know that he's the one who blew up the Death Star, but he knows something.
There's a whole lot about Luke he doesn't know just yet.
Just yet. This is such a fun book.
It is.
I adore this.
The cool thing about this book is that it reads, and I mean this very much as a compliment, is it reads like a role-playing adventure of Star Wars. Like you're getting, if you could somehow take all the characters and play it, you've got Han and Leia in a rogue walker taken out by Darth Vader.
Yeah.
You've got C-3PO getting torn apart.
That ruined its saving throw.
Right. Chewbacca, messing with aliens, and that Luke sequence is so exciting and cool on the page.
Oh my god,
it's drawn so well and it's so dynamic that it feels like everything you want in a Star Wars comic. And the great thing about this is the early Star Wars book was awesome. And
I mean, Marvel's last volume.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what was interesting is it had to deal with the movies coming out and, for lack of a better term, interfering.
Yeah, a little bit.
With the stories you were building and the relationships you were building, then changed when stuff got revealed. It's like all this, Luke Leia romance backstory that
they're like, hey, we just nullified 42 issues there.
Dude, George Lucas made me write nasty. What the fuck?
Lucas got me riding dirty.
But, yeah, so now it's all out in the open. So you know what's going to happen to these characters, so you have free reign to kind of fill in blanks.
Yeah.
And stay within certain spectrums. So it's so dynamic and so good. If anyone is not reading all of these, and so far we're talking about 3 books: Darth Vader,
the
Leia miniseries, and this one, and they are all awesome.
Mm-hmm. And Lando's coming soon.
And so is the
Very
Rebels
soon.
one, right?
The Kanan, whatever his name was.
K9.
Yeah, that's in progress. But I didn't think you'd like it, so I didn't bring it.
Oh, you should have. I mean,
well, I only got the first one.
Okay.
Because I wasn't impressed.
Oh, okay.
It was all right.
Then no, forget it.
It was readable, but it's definitely not at the same level as Darth Vader, Princess Leia, and Star Wars.
No, it's all really strong. I mean, I in the first part of 207, I made my points about the Leia book, but these 3 books are so ridiculously good as a combination. It's insane.
Right on.
All right.
This movie's distracted me with its badness. Yeah, it is bad, baby. This is bad. So, I don't know what's to add to this particular issue.
Right now it's so good. You just need to go into this, pick these up while they're available, and have fun with it. This is the Star Wars that you want.
Yep.
And for those of you who are waiting for the movie, which we can only hope will be as good as this book, this is a perfect filler in between right now.
It really is. It's functioning not just as a filler, but it will keep you ready and excited for more.
Now, and the other part of this is that it just throws dirt on top of the Dark Horse books.
I'm actively trying to forget the comparison and let each one stand on its own.
And I can see that.
Because the Wood book was really excellent.
Great.
Some of those Knights of the Old Republic were readable. The Invasion book was not great.
The fact of the matter is what I'm trying to say, though, I like to make fun of them. You obviously enjoyed most of the Dark Horse stuff. A good 75%.
Yeah.
This is what you always wanted in a Star Wars book.
Yeah.
This and Wood is as close as it came since the early issues where it was an entirely unknown world and comics were new to us. Star Wars was new to us.
Right on.
And this lets you go back to being like an 8-year-old kid, like, fuck yeah, Star Wars is awesome.
It's good shit, yo. That's good. I like that. It's good.
It's good.
That gets us to Silver Surfer 10, which is another good book on a wholly different wavelength.
I thought that Slott did an amazing job in channeling. He started off well. I know you're going to get to your plot description in a minute, but I loved how well he did. He started this in the last issue, but he really was able to make the pathos of the Surfer and his light comedic touch and juggle them so smoothly in this book.
Right. I totally agree. And he did that through the following developments. You hate it when I do this. You just want to talk feelings, but nobody knows why you're feeling that if I don't tell them what happened.
Nothing more than feelings.
Surfer has deceitfully destroyed Twoomie to hide his powers. He attacks Galactus, and dozens of survivors volunteer to be his herald, which was like, oh, they give me the shivers. I was verklempt. No, that was a great scene. It was awesome. It was an amazing scene. He rejects them, of course, and Dawn offers to be the herald. So he's like, I'll take you.
This was actually a dumb plot point, and I'll get back to that in a minute.
I wasn't overly... Because what's her real point to...
No. I'm going to come at it from a different angle, but let me, you go ahead and finish your...
So the rest of the survivors are like, all right, if you want the planet, fine, we'll go fucking find another planet. So they take off, and Silver Surfer takes Dawn home.
Well, no, he also agrees to herald them to the new planet. So he's becoming a herald again, but for them.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
My point with this, though, is...
Yeah?
Galactus doesn't want to take any of these people to be his herald because he's already eaten their planets. But he's willing to take Dawn, who's from the one planet that he's promised never to eat. And he's already had several heralds from Earth.
Yeah.
So there's no logic, and it's a tiny little thing, and it no way detracts from what was an awesome story. But it's like, no, that literally makes no sense.
It really didn't. I was like, what's your goal there, Dawn? I mean...
No, she's trying to save a bunch of people. She's a nice person.
Is. But
and she also literally has no idea what she's agreeing to.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a huge part of it. Because she knew what Norrin had to do. So, hell is that horrifying sound?
Dishwasher.
Oh. She knew what Norrin had to do, but I was wondering if he had to hide it. He didn't want her to know. What would she have done for somebody else in that capacity?
She didn't you can't understand the scope of that until you're in it. But in her case, it's just like, all these people are suffering. I'm a nice person. I will volunteer. And never mind the fact that I'm volunteering to do what I just judged someone for and bring all these people their doom. But in the end, all they sacrificed was a graveyard. And it was a really meaningful shot. Again, Slott and Allred are so combining well.
They work amazingly well together. The styles complement each other so well that I'm not even sure I can articulate it properly because I ain't an educated motherfucker.
No, that's true.
It's true.
But Mike Allred has always had a great style for humor with a bit of real emotion in it. And it's just coming out so nicely.
Which really is what drove me to iZombie so much. You thought the plot points were utterly ludicrous.
Well, they were.
And the details just mind-bogglingly dumb.
Because they were.
I'm not fucking agreeing with that at all. Come on, Were-Terrier. You love the Were-Terrier. And Grandpa Chimp was your spirit totem up in this motherfucker.
First off, Wile E. Coyote is my spirit totem.
Up in this motherfucker.
Oh.
Just work with me with these things, okay?
I will not stand by and endorse iZombie. It's just never going to happen.
No. Up in this motherfucker.
Up in this motherfucker.
But anyway, So it's a fabulous book.
So good. Can't wait to see what happens next. The Surfer-Dawn relationship takes another interesting turn.
Yep.
The art's great. The writing is great. The scope is awesome. The surfboard has feelings. Like, it's just ridiculously good.
Well, he must by now. I mean, it's a semi-sentient piece of Norrin himself.
You know what? It's a surfboard. It's like if Cap Shield is something like, I really like whacking AIM guys more than others. We should fight more AIM people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not interested in reading that.
But his shield is a metaphorical extension of himself. Twoomie is a literal extension of himself. Remember?
No.
Well, all right then. So we'll just have to go on to
I've never read as much Surfer as you have, to be
Well,
fair.
yeah, okay, that's true too.
And I didn't watch that freaking Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, no, that's fine because they didn't really bother much with him at all. It was just Johnny being a jackass and Ben being fucking ugly, man. Whatever. It was a poor flick. Miss Marvel 13. Kamala's doing training in New Adelan's danger room type effect thing while Medusa observes her. The family friends are visiting from out of town, and there's this guy, and he and Kamala bond over video games, and they go out for a chaperoned walk talking about Pakistani TV, excuse me. I know that...
Is that a derogatory term?
I know it is in England.
Okay. Well, then better safe than
It
sorry.
may or may not be here. So I just trying to save room on the
No,
page. They're talking about Pakistani
The
TV.
downside of reading out loud.
Yes. Now, Kaboom attacks, whoever the fuck that is, because she's an Inhuman too, and all the Inhumans want all the other Inhumans because they want to take over the world. Oh boy.
Well, obviously, with the birth of all these new Inhumans, there's two forces out there.
Yeah. There's always two sides whenever you get massive amounts of new heroes. But Kamala just fucking flattens her, man.
To her detriment. Like, Kamala goes a little... Kaboom was just not that threatening.
No, she was not a power scale that matched
It was
each
like
other.
that Tippy versus Craven thing. like, this is just not a fair fight. I don't care how friggin' tough you claim this fucking squirrel is.
It was crazy pants. And she rightly began to feel regret because she got a little over the top with it.
Well, Kaboom looks legitimately hurt at the end of this. And
Yeah.
you have to feel that this might come back to haunt her.
A little bit. But at the end, we find out that this new guy is also another Inhuman.
Well, that is just the least believable thing ever. So, I love the little touches in this book. I love that she handles her powers badly, in the sense that, here she's taking out a villain, let's be very clear.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's like, you gotta, gauge your response a little
that's
bit.
exactly right, because she knows that Cap would never go overboard. She knows that Peter Parker would never go... Well, she probably doesn't know Peter Parker. She knows Spider-Man wouldn't go overboard if he could help
Spider-Man's
it.
literally had 55 storylines doing this very thing. Like,
Yeah,
I
but
hit
she
him
don't
too
know
hard.
that. She's only 15.
No, it's the relationship piece is incredibly well done. Like the father and brother, like all the core relationships in this book are so perfect. And this is why, this is the perfect example why always, literally fucking always talk about the back cast of these books because it's incredibly important.
It is.
When
more books need to flesh theirs out.
When you don't have heroes live in vacuums and you write characters as if they're real people, the book improves immeasurably.
It does.
Spider-Man is a perfect example of this, and Miss Marvel right now is as good at this as any book is out there.
Yeah.
My one thing about this, and again, this is not a complaint about the book. This is just another tiny little thing that irks me.
Yeah.
And I know they've addressed this at different points, but is he a fucking dog or is he a fucking Inhuman?
You told me that he was definitely a dog.
I read a storyline in which they absolutely addressed the fact that it was a dog and he was not a fucking Inhuman, but everyone talks to him now like he's an Inhuman.
Yeah.
They give him like it's not like he gets treats. Like they give him fucking complicated math assignments. Like go to Earth, find this girl, protect her, be her dog.
It's true, and you know, they said I'm gonna have to reread this. I'm gonna have to get a new copy and reread it because, like we said dozens of episodes ago, in the official handbook of the Marvel Universe, it says he was in fact inhuman. Now you told me they retrofitted
what
that.
I read, and it's really irking me that I don't recall exactly what it was, is that they revealed that was a prank
on
that they
Ben
played
Grimm.
on Ben Grimm.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they literally handle it quite well. They're like, look, man, like if he was an inhuman and we treat him like the dog, we would be awful, half horse, half ninja, half fish people.
Oh, look. Rapunzel is swinging her hair like a goddamn mace.
No, she's wrapped a golf club in it.
Really? Well, that's just ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, because it was so much better without the golf club.
Well,
Mace hair.
Yeah, what's the point? Just swing the fucking golf club, man. There's no need to get hair involved. Whatever the fuck. It's a great book, and I'm desperate to hear all your insights. I'm not even going to bother. You're going to tell me all there is to... What? All there is to know about the new Howard the Duck 1.
Howard the Duck has somehow become a private investigator in She-Hulk's weird little superhero invention office building. I enjoyed this book. It is, however, a perfect example of how Howard the Duck just no longer works. He's a cool character that I have a huge sympathy for, but if you break it down, like, the whole, like, not fitting into the world was a very 70s motif.
Yeah, it totally was.
And they don't... Now they try for, like, a lighter, sarcastic tone.
Yeah.
So the depth of the character is completely lost. And you can't get it back. You cannot go back to that period because it's long-winded and wordy and weird.
Yeah.
And, you know, the duck sleeping with humans, no, they're not going to go near that anymore.
Well, I'm kind of disappointed that you sound disappointed.
I thought it was funny. There were parts I really... Like, the montage page was hysterical.
That was great.
But they're turning him into, like, they're playing him as a joke. Like, his idea of a costume is to wear a chef's hat and a mustache while delivering a pizza. And he's got a receptionist, which is a bag of trash with a face drawn on it.
I kind of laughed my ass off at that.
All that was... No, but that's my point. Is, as a book, I enjoyed all that. It's kind of funny. But it's more like, say, Amazing Man. It's not Howard the Duck.
I see what you're going for.
Who is a smart, unpleasant, no power having duck dude. So I thought the book was funny and I enjoyed it. It shows so very clearly how people don't get Howard the Duck and how what makes Howard great doesn't work anymore.
All right, I follow you.
But at the same time, it was quite abusing in parts.
You'll keep going though, won't you?
Yeah, no, I totally... Anything with Howard the Duck...
Because I've kept buying the motherfuckers.
Anything with Howard the Duck is going to draw my money towards it, sadly. I do think, however, once again, like, they give him a plucky female sidekick, but this was the most forced, like, I like to punch bad people. What?
Yeah, it was not...
And they
my
meet
favorite.
in jail, like, there's no depth to this book.
Not yet. I mean, first issue...
True, but it doesn't feel like there's going to be a lot either.
Yeah, I'm with you.
However...
I want to have hope. I try.
Well, no, it was a legitimately funny book. That's your hope, is that it's pretty goddamn amusing. And we're going to hit the next one with him teamed up in space with Rocket Raccoon. And that was also legitimately amusing. So I think as a comedy book, if you have never read Howard the Duck before, this is a very easy book to like.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, from that perspective, yeah.
And for you, who's read limited, like a couple of duplicates of mine and here or there.
Right.
But you've never delved deeply into the whole... Because
it's
wordy and annoying as shit, also.
And it's difficult as fuck to find.
True. But at the same time, like as I said, because I've given you a couple, but it's exactly what you don't like about 70s books. There's insane amounts of dialogue and fucking prose. Dude, there's an entire issue which is basically about how deadlines suck.
Did you give me that one? Because now I'm going to have to dig it out.
I might have. You'll have to check which ones I gave. I gave you what?
They're set aside.
Yeah, 7 or 8 of them,
I didn't
right?
put it in the...
Yeah.
I didn't put them in the main box because I didn't want to tempt culling them. So they are set aside.
Have you actually read them, or just
I read
through
one
them
of
quickly?
them.
And that's my point. But yeah, like the way Howard the Duck was so perfect for its time, and there's a reason that he was able to run for president. I've never even find one of those original Howard the Duck for president buttons.
No.
I don't have one of those. But it was a great book for its period. This is a funny book, but it's just not a comparable piece.
Okay.
If you take that out of the equation, this was pretty darn amusing. And I'm very much like Howard the Duck and Rocket Raccoon, that shit just makes sense to me.
It totally does.
So
it's a bonus.
Yeah, no, I think people should look at this. You'll have a good time. You cannot be hoping... It's like reading a Doctor Strange thing now and hoping to get like the class... Because now you've read a decent amount of the classic ones.
Yeah.
And you're still deciding if it's your cup of tea or not.
Right.
But you couldn't do that book now.
Not that book, no.
If you open one of those now, like a brand new book, and it was that
shit
much
from
talking,
1974, no.
Impossible. And without Gene Colan to be drawing like his ass off, making
right.
You're like,
yes.
I don't want to read anymore, but I got to see the next page. Like, you just can't. You know, certain things don't carry. There's a reason fucking Killraven isn't around anymore. Like, certain things have a time and a place.
There's a reason Killraven isn't around anymore. I think we got a candidate there. That's good. That's good shit.
Triple K, Killraven, Commandi crossover.
Ew.
Dude, you buy 2. Slab one.
I might. I'm still down with this, but this is only issue 3. I'm wondering if you're making any philosophical progress on Squirrel Girl.
It's still very hard for me to take the book seriously, and it's a comedy book.
Yeah.
But in the greater scheme of things, I have a hard time finding out where they're trying to go with this. It's very like... If this were an indie book, not in the Marvel Universe,
yeah,
it was just a wacky girl with squirrel powers doing random things to heroes. But with the things going on in Superior Iron Man, like imagine her sneaking in and stealing... It has to be almost completely continuity free. She lives on a very side corner of the Marvel Universe.
Yes. A little bitty corner where things are much, much brighter.
Yeah, they're pulling out too much at once. So to look at it from another take, because again, this was a fairly funny issue. When she built her entire squirrel armor thing, even though that was gross and probably resulted in several dead squirrels if you were to actually do that.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, they make a golem out of fucking squirrels.
Yeah.
That can't be natural.
But they have the roommate recognize the tail of the one.
Yeah, because of the bow.
Right. And so now she knows that
Doreen
is Squirrel Girl.
Girl.
Like, this is issue 3. You're giving away a lot in a short period of time.
Well, she has to have somebody to confide in eventually.
She has a squirrel, though. She does.
Well, Tippy Toe is one thing. You know, a person's another.
Well, she's only going to college to meet people. She doesn't know that. Like, from her perspective, Tippy Toe is in a, she's like, I need more people relationships, but I've got my squirrels. I should try this.
I need people, but I have my squirrels.
Yeah.
I might be another candidate.
It's what I do. But
tell me that cover does not sing to you.
No, space monkeys versus squirrels is always going to show me a certain amount of joy. I don't think that I hate the book.
You're not ready to love it yet.
I can't find a way for it to work in my head, which makes it harder to enjoy. It's just it's almost two-toned. It's going for a light, amusing tone, but at the same time, it does some really weird shit that doesn't quite...
It doesn't quite...
if it had, like... It's an incredibly comedic cartoon style.
Yeah.
So the serious moments almost don't work because of the art. Not that there've been a ton of serious moments.
Okay, I can see that. I can see... Yeah.
it's the entire book is being played for a single laugh, not laughs. It's like back in the day in the 90s when everything got a satire book for 2 issues.
Yeah.
Like Man of Rust and all that
That's
stuff.
right.
It has
I try
more,
to forget things like Man of Rust.
It's what I do. But it has more that kind of feel than something that's going to be around for 40, 50 issues.
Well, ain't nothing making 50 issues.
Sad but true. But you have to go in hoping and planning. Like Miss Marvel, it's not hard to imagine.
Oh yeah. Yeah, if they can keep Wilson on it, I'll be there for 50 issues.
Yeah,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
my point. This you don't get the impression that you want to read 50 of these.
Not yet, anyway.
Right. Like, light and comedic is fun, but I think you have to think long term with these things.
Yeah. I'm with you. I can see what you're saying. But I laugh enough reading each issue.
There are some very funny things. Like, there's a lot of light comedic moments that I enjoy.
Like Chipmunk Hunk.
Chipmunk Hunk was hysterical. And the lines of the song underneath each page were so goddamn funny.
The poor roommate gets stuck in a bank robbery. Poor Nancy. Nancy?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Nancy. I'm calling her Nancy.
You know what? The plot is no... We've made the points. The plot's
There's
almost
no
secondary.
real point. But being my fucking age and needing my fucking glasses, I'm kind of irritated about how small the goddamn type is,
particularly
at the bottom of those fucking pages. It's starting to piss me off a little bit. I almost had to break out a goddamn magnifying glass.
I wondered.
It was close. It was close.
No, it
shit's made for motherfucking teenagers.
Which should be.
Got good eyes and shit.
That part was incredibly funny, and it had that old school Mad Magazine feel.
Oh yeah,
which I really liked. Like, I thought they did a couple things. So for me, this issue was kind of a step up because, as it got more surreal, for me, it got funnier.
Yeah.
Like, it just completely walked away from anything logical. Like, Chipmunk Hunk was so ridiculous that the book hit, like, something was like a skull kicker. It's like, fuck it, just throw that in there. And I think this book needs a little bit more of that, because I'm the Squirrel superheroine is a one-note joke to me. But when you start just getting insane with stuff, you become slightly more interested.
I just wish they didn't start off with these stupid little, like, forum posts in the beginning, because that's just like, I spend all day reading computer shit. Let me read a comic book.
Oh, let's not forget, by the way, that the whole fact that Whiplash is fighting her thinking he's fighting Iron Man and trying to use beating Squirrel Girl. Dude, Whiplash is so lame. And this just brings that home so perfectly. Like, that's the villain that you want. Like, and I suppose most people see Kraven as that kind of lame Spider-Man villain, but to me that dude's legit, so I'm like, no, Whiplash, that's the guy. You should have chameleoned to your first
That's
one.
the caliber of villain that she needs.
Isn't it?
It is. Hello, what's going on over there?
To me, and perhaps he's moved down, but to me Kraven's in a different weight class than that.
Oh, sure.
But Whiplash so belongs in this book. Like, I beat Iron Man. You beat a girl, and you didn't even beat her, but you attacked a girl and a squirrel in half of my suit. You're a jackhole.
Too funny. I think we played that one out, though. What happens in Silk 2? So Cindy Moon, the new Silk, released from the bunker after 10 years of blah, blah, blah. She gives us a lot of flashbacks.
Well, you have to.
And, searching for her family in between the Hydra Brainiac thing, remembering her old boyfriend. She runs into him after a fight. There's not a whole lot shaken in this issue.
Silk is a neat character, but this needs to go faster sooner.
It really does.
She runs into her old boyfriend, who now is engaged, and she left because she was locked in a fucking basement for 100 years.
10 years. Just 10.
It's simply not... Like, and it was... the tone was really good. Like, you felt for her when she was talking to the dude.
Right.
And they conveyed that he missed her, but he had a new relate. Like, they did a lot of light things really well.
Yeah.
But it just feels like another Spider... Apparently, spiders' lives must suck. Like, I've never really been sympathetic to a spider, because why the fuck would I? But everybody gets bitten by a spider gets phenomenal cosmic powers and a shitty life.
Well, I mean, this was even the same spider as Peter. So that's...
Yeah, but everybody...
It kind of follows.
Nobody... well, fine, Ezekiel, but then he got sucked dry by a fucking space vampire.
Yeah.
But in general, if you have spider powers, your life blows.
Yeah, pretty much.
So...
Which is one more reason not to read Spider-Gwen on top of all these others.
I just assume it's the same thing. And even if you're friends with them, like, you end up being fucking Venom or Agent Venom.
Yeah. So it's not a good... Oh, poor Red succumbed to Rumpelstiltskin's zombie mixture.
Or whatever the hell happened. When the Golden Oldie, is that what she became when she was the Herald? Aunt May became Galactus's Herald?
Oh, that's right! Oh my God, that's right! Holy shit, I forgot about that. You know what? We're going to find that issue, and that's going to be our little mini review.
I think I have that one. I'll have to look.
That's such a great... We should really focus on bizarro shit like that. That's
weird.
what we should do, yeah.
God knows I have plenty of that. And you do because of me, so...
Yeah, exactly. But, I mean, it's an okay book. It's only issue 2, so there's plenty of room for improvement.
Go ahead. Finish your point.
Poor Stacey Lee is already off the book, so the art is like... And there's some kind of smudge on this that's greasing up the page.
Huh.
Motherfucker. I'm not blaming you. It's probably me.
It could be. I don't know how that could have happened, but anything can happen.
I don't normally like the pseudo manga art, but it really works in here.
I thought so too, so I'm a little disappointed by that.
It's clean and quality. You can tell what's going on. You can tell what the expressions on their faces mean. So that's a huge bonus, because some of these motherfuckers get pretty stiff and they get sucked into the grimacing thing, and it's like, oh, fuck yourself. Give me a smile, you asshole.
On the positive side, they've made her very likable and relatable quickly.
Yes.
On the negative side, they're pushing too hard, and there's just too many. Between Spider-Woman, Spider-Gwen, Silk, frigging Spider-Man, Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's... just give me Pete and maybe one other, and I'll be happy.
And right now, like, if we were, like, you only did the first issue or two of Spider-Gwen. You never even brought him by, so that one didn't really hit you.
Actually, just number 1. That's it.
Yeah. Either way,
I got that electronically.
Oh, okay.
So there was nothing
you
bring.
You bought an investment.
Well, the variants were for sale, so nobody else was touching them.
My point being,
not that you'd fuck them up.
Well, we never know. There's what's on this guy.
Yeah.
The point being, if it comes down to this or Spider-Woman, right now, I think Spider-Woman has the edge.
Yeah, a bit. She's a more developed character. She brings us more. Her adventures have a little more gravity to them.
And she fought the porcupine.
And she fought the motherfucking porcupine. Shit, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Porcupine up in this biatch.
So totally not talking
that
about
one we have to do too.
Porcupine up in this
185.
All right, we'll do that. We can do that. So let's shift gears from first to second, going over to Amazing Spider-Man 16, the original motherfucker. So Pete is fighting the iguana in the reptile house, and he's just like, what do you do? Why did you bring me here to do this?
This fight was awesome because the iguana was so secondary. Like it's like you're a lizard ripoff. You're the worst thing ever. And he's just trying to make points about iguana rights the whole time while Pete's taking a phone call. I found that hysterical.
And not only does Aunt May call, but then Anna Maria calls, pissed off, interrupted by Sajani, who is also pissed because guess what? Pete's supposed to be somewhere and he ain't fucking there.
Pete's super prison plan, which is the worst idea.
It's
ever.
pretty bad, really. On the surface, it seems okay, but they've got 16 super prisons. They don't need another one just because Pete's designing it. Maybe he could improve the ones there, but I don't think they need a whole fucking new one.
They've all been fiascos. Like everyone, none of these have not had giant friggin' nightmare breakouts, events.
Well, the raft was the one that got blown up by Electro to kick off New Avengers.
True.
I don't think the pit ever had a problem.
Yeah, I think there was an open revolt in there at one point. Like, you put enough superheroes into supervillains into a place, eventually shit's gonna go badly.
Well, that is true. But you have a better memory for minor events like that than I do.
Yeah. It's so true, but it still hurts.
No, you remember prison shit, you biatch. You must have bent over at some point, I suppose.
Whoa.
You know, we were getting too nice
far.
up in this motherfucker.
Too far.
We were getting too nice.
Too far.
We're liking everything. There's no insults.
Oh,
Somebody
right.
had to make it mean again. Let's refill. Well, I'll refill, and you'll sit there. And we'll finish off Black Widow, Uncanny, All New, Captain America, and Thor.
Good God.
Sound good?
Sure.
Be right back, kids. All right, I have more scotch and soda. So we're going to talk some Black Widow. This is the second to last Black Widow I got.
Oh, you finally killed it.
I finally killed it. It is a quality book. It's not the kind of book I want to read right now.
It's not fun. There's too many other better things out there. It's one tone, too. Like, it just...
Yeah.
Just unrelentingly bleak.
Yep, there's no variation in anything. She's guilty for 16 issues. She's following the same plot threads for 16 issues. The only variation is that Isaiah, her lawyery guy, is now in trouble. Whoa, boy. So we get some insight into Nat's younger years as she and her pal observe ballerinas, which may or may not be part of the Red Rooms themselves.
I don't think
I didn't think it was clear,
no,
but
I think they
tend
were
to doubt
breaking
it.
out to watch the ballerinas.
Yeah.
It was so
They were in the
pretty
Red Room.
and so different
Yeah.
in their life.
So she meets the Prophet as kids. No, she meets the Prophet in the mainstream,
Right.
in the main time. And then as a kid, she finds a pistol just out of nowhere because in Russia they're just dropped on the street regularly.
Well, I mean, you know, this was the same time as Reagan's America, so they were dropped everywhere.
Well, probably. The ballerina they like gets abused, and Nat is just fucking outraged about this, as she should be. That's proper.
Well, because the guy beats her to the point where she can never dance again.
Right. So if you're going to be outraged, that's a pretty good fucking reason to be outraged.
It works.
So the thing is, Nat goes and gets the pistol and shoots his ass. So we witness Nat's first fucking live kill.
And she doesn't entirely, it's... I don't know. I have a really hard time with this. Like, little kids shooting people was awkward. Like, I know she was trained to be an assassin or whatever, but the whole thing was just odd to be.
Little bit. I don't know if they're quite pushing it. Because we know that the training to murder is part of her persona or history or character. We know that. It's just... Did they have to make the first kill quite that young? I don't know. It's
Obviously, like that's a big push button for you anyway.
Yeah.
But it doesn't help that I'm not enjoying this. Like,
yeah. So eventually the Prophet offers her this super vague job because that's how you build tension these days, is to not bother telling anybody shit.
I can't even be funny about this book. I'm so disconnected. Every time I read this, I'm like,
Yeah.
how many more
Yeah.
pages? Like, I don't want to
Yeah.
read, I don't want to read anything that way, but I certainly don't want to read a comic book that makes me wonder when I'm going to be done with it.
Right. Which is why 17 is number 0, really. That's it. It's the end of 17 is over for us. And I read 17, and it doesn't make me change my mind.
Do you think that, do you see yourself holding on, or is this a future call?
You know, as we've said before, there are points where there's books you're ready for, and there's books you're in a mindset for, and the pace may run better if you read them in large chunks.
So you want to revisit it down the line?
Eventually.
Fair enough.
Eventually. So, But I don't know what the fuck's happening in Uncanny 32, man.
Uncanny 32.
Havok comes and talks to Scott while the decision has been made to send the kids to the Jean Grey school.
I can break this down for you. Like, you don't even have to describe this. Basically, what this comes down to is we're going to reclaim Scott to not be a horrible person. That's the goal. And Havok and Scott immediately, just by hanging together and by some quality writing, revert back to old school Claremont, just light banter.
Yeah.
And then you're constantly flashing back at the same time to Cyclops completely destroying every other relationship in his life.
Yeah. That is exactly right on with
including
this.
what appears to be the final death knell of the stupidest relationship ever. Cyclops and the White Queen.
Hopefully that's over, because Emma and Havok argue, and oh my god, it's Scott's a dick, and everybody hates him. It's time for the other turn.
Dude, gold ball dropping Cyclops was so hysterical.
And none of them want to go to the Jean Grey school. They're like, you told us we were here with you, and
I don't even know. Like, I don't. The downside of this book, and I've really enjoyed all these X books and whatnot, is that all these new characters. Like, I don't care about any of these people. Like,
you know, I like Eva.
What's her power?
She can stop time
and travel in it theoretically.
Yeah.
So she's Blink.
Pretty much.
You hate Blink.
I hated Blink because Blink was boring. Eva has actually tried to make some decisions and move forward and have a personality.
Fair enough, but you really see like a lot with this character. Like, do you see Hijack doing anything ever again?
Hijack? Almost certainly not. No.
Or that incredibly dull hero. What's his name? The healer.
Oh, yeah, him. Christian, I think?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
Anybody
I recognize that a lot of the cast is not exactly filled out yet.
So destroying this book and starting from scratch is a genius move. And the banter between Cyclops and Havok was awesome.
Yeah, that was good talking. Good talking? That was great dialogue is what I was looking for.
And that, that's what this needs, is that this has become so unrelentingly grim. And Magic stealing Kitty Pryde, hopefully that goes somewhere interesting.
Yeah.
But it has gotten convoluted to an insane degree.
Yeah, it's time for this one to finish up. So, we're going to pause for a second here, and we will be right back. So, conversely, although we kind of dug what was going on in Uncanny 32.
I totally enjoyed it. I don't know where they're going to go from there, but I really thought like they did it very well. Like they basically just raised the earth. It's like Garth Ennis leaving a book, like just slaughter everything.
Unfortunately, because of the Black Vortex tie-in, I didn't give a shit about All New 39.
Dude, literally, my description for this book is crossover.
Mine was skip it. Too entwined in Black Vortex.
It was so confusing and so unfollowable. All these teams. The only thing I remember was that Iceman was like, I'm powerful.
So?
Beyond confusing.
Totally didn't care. This is the worst way to do a crossover.
This is exactly why people hate crossovers. When you buy a book and you're like, I don't have it. This doesn't match what I was just reading.
Yep.
This is asininely weird and confusing.
It's like, that is why the 4 super books needed those stupid triangle numbers in the 90s. Because you might have half a plot thread in Adventures, and then they would take 6 pages of that and put it in action.
Yeah.
And the rest of both issues would not relate to each other. And be like, dude, come on.
I love how they did that, though. It was so
No,
followable.
it was smart.
Yep.
It was smart. So if you did get all 3,
Or
you
4.
knew what you were supposed to do.
Yep.
But no.
No, like when they did Emperor Joker and that kind of thing, it was so amazingly clear. You would I can actually read an entire random thing and follow everything.
Yeah, it worked out
and they
nicely.
even numbered the event books, like the Emperor Joker one shot, so you knew where everything went.
Right.
This is the exact opposite of that.
Even though I think they did number these, but it was pointless because there's so many books it runs through. It's just ridiculous.
And it didn't even build in. It's not like you knew it. Like last issue, they weren't like building towards this.
Yeah. And they're not entirely related books either because something happened in Captain Marvel and she's got nothing to do with fucking X-Men.
No, so confusing.
And Guardians of the Galaxy was in there. And the only way that those X-Men and Guardians crossover is because
Space!
Star-Lord is dating Kitty for some god-awful, undetermined reason.
Oh, and they both have they both met the Starjammers.
Oh,
so an entire crossover based on everyone's knowledge of your least favorite superhero team ever. It's not even close, man. It's like, do you want to read the Champions or Starjammers?
Champions.
Do you want to read late 80s Defenders or the Champions?
There was late 80s Defenders?
Or early 80s, I guess, was the end. Fair enough.
That's a tough one. Probably Defenders.
Okay. Do you want to read Sci-Force or Starjammers?
I minded Sci-Force less than most of the less than Night Mask, let's say that. But no, if I had my choice, I'd go read fucking Booster Gold. Really.
Dude, I have a signed Night Mask by Mark Bagley.
Yeah, well,
and it doubly pissed you off, because not only did he think he was cool, he was looking at me going, you're not old enough to have read this when it came out. And you were just standing there going, I'm going to punch both of you.
Yep, pretty much.
I'll punch you in your talented artist face and you in your smug old face.
You had to bring that shit up, didn't you? I was doing fine, man. This is a great episode, and you bring up that. Giant jackass. So, all new Cap 5, which if you notice in previews, I mean, it's still not back yet because of this Secret Wars horse shit.
For whatever reason, Remender is so better at this book than he was on Cap. It's just mind-blowing.
Yeah, how does that work? Now, the thing is, and I've seen this in Marvel books recently, and if they continue with this trend, it's going to piss me off. I'm going to have to stop buying a few particular Marvel books. But this stuff is like, they open this issue like directly addressing asshole fans.
How do you figure?
Well, let's go back. Let's open this up.
Yeah, because I'm not sure where you're going with this.
Well, I mean, I want to read a story, not be fucking preached to. So, there's this whole conversation in the restaurant about being politically correct.
Oh, yep.
Coordinated.
That's not my Cap and whatnot.
Yeah. Well, too fucking bad. You don't put that in the story. Let that shit work itself out in the forums.
I didn't have a problem with that. I get what you're saying. Like, it's a little too smart marky to use the wrestling term. But it only makes sense that this character would have that kind of backlash in the public. Replacing Captain America is hard.
Yeah.
The guy whose main power is talks to a bird is definitely going to have problems. The fact that Sam Wilson is doing a hell of a good job is secondary to some people, and the fact that he's not Captain America and he talks to a bird.
But, I mean, they could have done it a tad more artistically, a tad more, a tad less like they're literally talking to the jackasses in the forums.
Well, I think the point that you're missing is
because I've read each and every one of those arguments on Twitter.
Well, shame on you for reading Twitter. But the point that I want to make is I think that I'm not saying it was subtle because it wasn't, but the point they hammer home is that it goes from that to Sam grabbing his sword and palming it out of his own shoulder.
Well, yeah, there's that. And that's the kind of thing Cap would do.
But that's what they're doing. It's like, this is how heroic he is, offsetting that argument.
Yeah, but I don't want to read the argument in the first place. Because I know Sam is capable of that to begin with.
Fair enough. But I think that the book, the fact that nobody should replace Captain America, and right now I should be reading about Steve Rogers, is not arguable to me. So I don't have a problem with that mindset, because I kind of live that mindset.
All right. I'm with you.
All I really care about this issue is that Batroc is not dead. He's back and he's kicking people in the face.
And that's a start. I don't get entirely. I misread it or didn't quite follow everything because I'm not certain entirely how Sam gets out of dying right there, aside from pulling the sword out. Because there shouldn't be any reason Zemo doesn't just take another swing at him and lop his head off.
Well, I think he forces the sword back, and then the fight begins anew.
I mean, that Sam is hurting pretty fucking badly right there.
It's like that whole Arnold Schwarzenegger thing. Like you can fire a nail into his kneecap and he limps ever so slightly.
So the thing, so if you remember, they have this disease that's supposed to make everybody sterile, except for the people who have been inoculated by the blood of this doofus that they just found somehow. So, their vector for spreading this disease is fleas,
which is gross.
Which is pretty fucking gross. But the way they handle the fleas, I don't know if it's fucking brilliant or if it's just equally ludicrous. Because Sam decides he's going to call all the birds in the universe to fucking fly into the cloud of fleas and have just eat them all before they get to the ground.
It was a really creative idea, but
that's some Silver Agey shit right there.
No, it was really well done, I have to say. And I loved how Sam messed with the kid. He's like, "Yeah, I'm the bad guy in this scenario." I really enjoyed that dynamic. I could not get fucking old school Aquaman out of my head. Like, he speaks to all the birds. It's like if DC fought Marvel again, suddenly it'd be Captain America versus Aquaman. Like, it was so like birds versus fish.
But it amused me that Misty Knight was able to pay off Taskmaster to just give up the fight.
I did like that.
That amused me.
I feel like they spent all that time in Avengers Initiative moving Taskmaster up the food chain.
Yeah.
And this just threw him out way back to old school. Like, no, I'm a nobody mercenary villain.
There's this weird backup plan that Zemo has, though, with Baron Blood just drinking God knows how much infected blood and then planning to fucking suicide bomb himself in the atmosphere.
Well, theoretically, I guess you can make it back, but he helps himself to some chicken wings, and we've got our friggin'
I never see. Never mind. I want to cut that part out. I never seen a man eat so many chicken wings.
It was
bad reference. Cut at 56:48.
It is a damn good book, and I'm surprised how much I'm enjoying it. But if Red Wing is officially deceased, because if I have to read a vampire friggin' chicken hawk book, like
that's going to be disappointing.
Not interested in that at all.
But yeah, no. Aside from the bit of weirdness that we have, we have to have something to say that this was goofy. But aside from that, it is, like you said, an excellently put together book. But yeah, let's finish this bitch off with Thor 6. How about that?
Mineral rights.
That's just ridiculous. Agger, the goofy Minotaur dude, he has an origin with this island and pirates and Minotaur statues.
I thought it was kind of dumb, but I liked that there was a logic to it and a progression.
Yeah.
And there was a hint of a future problem from that. So I thought,
in that sense, I dug it. I still hate Agger himself.
Oh, absolutely. And the whole pirate head thing makes not one lick of sense.
That was pretty fucking weird. And he keeps the heads, though, as he goes to meet Malekith, who is just like, I'll give you mineral rights to Svartalfheim and all that shit. We don't need aluminum. We have Uru. What the fuck?
This is my problem with Roxy. Like, how dumb are you that you think that this is not going to go horribly awry? Like, he's an evil prince of evil. There's nothing in this scenario in which you don't get boned.
It is. It's true. He's going to fuck over Agger so badly. And really, just oil 8 trillion different technological things and sources of energy in the universe, and you go for oil.
I don't have a problem with that. Like, I can see the appeal of that to the character. It works within the world they built, the whole Roxanne storyline before this.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with any of that. It's just, he's a moron. How are you going to enforce this deal? Oh, sorry, we're in another dimension. Like, it's bad business, and it makes no sense.
It doesn't. It really don't.
Meanwhile, Thor's got to go beat troll ass to keep himself from freaking going crazy. And his investigate, like, Thor's the worst private detective
he
ever.
Is, man. He literally uses a hammer for everything. Every problem is a nail. Except now he's got his stupid axe again. But whatever. Who cares? He consults Heimdall, because Heimdall sees everything. It's like that little cartoon that was on Facebook for a little bit there. Oh, Heimdall can see anything. I've been looking for Bucky for 2 years, asshole. 2 years. You could look down and find him for me. Come on.
God help us.
He should have been able to find. Heimdall should have been looking down and go, hey, there he is. Go get him.
You had to ask.
Thor theorizes about NuThor while he's killing the trolls. He's being distracted. He's trying to keep his mind straight. He doesn't do a very good job of it. And
well,
he has a conversation with Jane.
That goes very badly.
Very poorly.
I will say, however, that even though he crosses her off his list, he's the worst detective ever. I still stand by my Jane pick.
You know, the likelihood that it's Jane is pretty goddamn high.
This pains you so much to admit.
I think that it's a less than original solution. You know, there's so many people it could be, and nobody wants new characters, so they don't give us new characters except like Cindy Moon and Kamala Khan.
You get plenty of new characters,
Well,
you know.
Spider-Gwen's not new.
Kind of is.
Not really. She's a Gwen from another dimension. That doesn't make her new.
Hey, you know what? If Venom can be a new character, because now it's Flash Thompson with friggin' Venom legs.
That was not precisely innovative either.
I never thought of it.
You know why? At any rate, the Destroyer eventually finds NuThor, and things are gonna break fucking loose.
Oh, dude, that next issue is gonna be epic.
It is. And that concludes this epic issue of The Mean Geek, Comics Podcasting on the Edge of Civility. What do we say when we're done with an episode?
Finally.
That too.
The Rock has come back to bless you fuckers!
I'm in pain. And away. The Mean Geek is recorded live at the Reverend Mad Duck's apartment whenever the hell we can get to it. Find us on Facebook, Stitcher, Twitter under @TheMeanerGeek. Subscribe to us through RSS.
Or we can be located at our own site, www.themeingeek.com. And most importantly of all, you can find us as a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network.
Email us directly at themeanergeek@gmail.com.
Can I drink now?
You may.